Hey everyone, I was asked by YouTube user Michelle Hernandez to make a video outlining the steps to create a design like the straight out of shirts that you've seen or stickers and whatnot. So this video is going to run through the steps of how to create this design. It's fairly simple, but there are a lot of different features, so it'll take a few minutes, but for the most part it's pretty simple and can be translated over to any other kind of design that is similar. But a few things to point out: I've already got my workspace set up. I've got my substrate size already set to 10.5 by 10.5, and the reason I did those sizes is because it just works out with the size text, 2-inch tall text, and the proportions are pretty good. Just with that, there's no use in really trying to make it difficult to provide a video. You can work with or play with your substrate size and text size to get the design you want. And also, if you're going to be doing a design like this on a black shirt, or if you're going to have a black background somewhere and you want to do it with white letters, a high contrast like white or yellow, you want to go ahead and set your substrate color to black over in the Design Central box. Just click the drop down and click black. Mine is already set there, but I'm going to erase everything here and start from scratch. And with a design like this, there's going to be a lot of times where you'll need to change the order of your features and combine, which in this case we'll do cutouts, but then also the alignment of your features. So it's real handy to have these toolbars open already. So you can just go to View and Toolbars, or Control T, and then scroll down here. You've got the Combine, Order, and Align boxes, and when you check those, it'll drop them up here in the top main toolbar. So you can, if you grab the dots right here, you can move the toolbar where you want it, or you can make it fly out to where it's down here. The align bar is too big to have it be flying out in the window. So we'll get to it now. I'll just delete all of this and start completely from scratch. So you can see I've got the black background here, and the first thing to do is cover that with white using the rectangle tool. Since it was 10.5 by 10.5, we'll do a rectangle that is also 10.5 by 10.5. You can just click outside of the your drawing area. Since I had black selected before, that's why it turned up black, but we want it to be white. The far right button on the Align toolbar is Align both centers to page. So we want to do that so it completely covers the black substrate, and we'll cut out in a little bit to see the black underneath. So now we'll use the text tool, and because it's going to be our design is going to be black and white, we'll actually do it a different color so it doesn't get lost. Impact is a good font. I believe it is standard on Windows. If not, you can find it on free fonts or wherever else, but it's a good block font. The letters tend to run together so much, or just enough so that cutting them out with vinyl wouldn't work right, especially if you just forgot to weed it. I'm sorry, not weed it, weld it. So I just put a 2% spacing in here between the letters, and that was enough to get what I needed. So we'll just drop our text on here. I'm from Norman, Oklahoma, so there's quite a few of these shirts floating around. And since everything is going to be centered, we'll want to go ahead and do the center alignment on the text and center it on the page using the align both centers to page button. Because of the spacing of the text, if you want, you can, or the line spacing, sorry, you can go over here to the text bar under Design Central, and this arrow over on the right side of your line spacing allows you to specify, so you can increase your line spacing. About 3.5 is fine, because that would be 10.5 inches tall divided by 3, so we can get even spacing top to bottom. So then we'll go ahead and align both centers to page again. And right now we can go to text and break apart, and that gives us 3 individual text entities instead of just one. So it allows us to manipulate things a little bit easier. Plus there'll be some other rectangles that will align with the text. So now we'll want to do a rectangle, and you can make it be 10.3 inches wide by 3.4 inches tall, and that'll just give us a 0.100 inch border around the whole design. So the 3.4 would be 10.5 divided by 3 is 3.5, and then minus the 0.100, so 3.4 there, and then 10.5 minus 2 times 0.100 is the reason for the 10.3 here. So change that to black and just drop it anywhere. If your cursor comes up with the like target marker, it's going to try and grab something else, so we'll just click off to the side. And it's actually handy enough to just be able to use your arrow keys to get the box positioned fairly close. And we'll use our order and go back to put the rectangle behind our lettering. And we can Control C and Control V to get another box for down here. And we will send that one back as well. So now you can take, and we're going to align the box with the letters, align them both centers to each other. To align these objects to each other, click on your word first, since that'll be the stationary object, since we've already got it spaced out appropriately vertically, and then hold shift and click your rectangle, and this button right here is align both centers. So there, that put the rectangle aligned with the word straight. So now we'll do that on the bottom. And we kind of lost a little bit of our border down at the very bottom, but we can, and also at the top, but that can be alleviated fairly easily. Just select both items and click your arrow keys and to move them up or down to get the desired border width that you want. So now everything is still flying over a white rectangle. Okay, so now we want to cut out our black rectangles from our white background rectangles, so that when you cut this out on your vinyl cutter, it will show your substrate underneath if you're doing it on a black shirt or some other color shirt. So what you want to do is just select the main background rectangle, hold shift and select the black rectangle and do a cutout So now there's technically not a black rectangle here that's a separate entity. It's just a window and you're seeing the black um, substrate underneath it. We also want to do that with this other rectangle. It'll only let you do one at a time. So we'll do the other rectangle, and sometimes when you do these cutouts it brings the object to the very front. So you want to just send that one to the very back. And now if you're going to have this middle text a cutout so you can see the substrate underneath it, you want to do that. So just select the text, select the rectangle, and although I didn't mention this, although the text does not have the control points around it, if it's outlined in red, then it is selected. I was getting messed up with that earlier, so I had to pause the video. So now we've got the text and the rectangle selected. We'll just do cutout here. So now the gray text actually went away, and we can see the black substrate underneath the white. And the last thing to do is just change our font color back to white if that's what you're going for. Otherwise you can play around with the font colors based on your vinyl design. And so with something like this, if you wanted to cut it out on vinyl to create a sticker, or on heat transfer vinyl or something like that, it's going to be super easy to cut out and weed. It's pretty straightforward design from beginning to end. The video took quite a bit longer than I kind of expected to, but there's a little bit to explain once you get through it. It's fairly easy. So questions, concerns, comments, just leave it below. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Hopefully the production quality is getting a little bit better and more concise. So anyways, thanks for watching.